afternoon and welcome to this SAP Reference Live session where we're welcoming today our customer AXA Switzerland and our partner SPS. I will be your host for today. My name is Gladys and I'm working in the Business Technology Platform Customer Success Partner team and organization in the MEE region. And together with my colleagues from the Customer Reference team, we have set up this great reference for you today. And we have two speakers. We have Nadine and Andreas joining us today. We have Andreas from the customer AXA Switzerland, and we have Nadine that is going to present from the partner side, that is SPS. The topic is going to be about the SAP Analytics Cloud rollout that SPS together with AXA conducted for AXA Switzerland, and that would be the topic of the presentation. So it will go about 40 minutes, and you can ask your questions during the event. You can place them in the chat box, and I will be able to read them to our speakers. But at the end of the session, we're also going to have a Q&A. In the meantime, I would like to hand over to Andreas, who is going to be our speaker from AXA Switzerland, from our customers. So Andreas, if you can please introduce yourself for our customers and continue with the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Gladys. Hello, everybody, also from my end, coming from Winterthur, sitting in Switzerland today. Today, we want, and we are Nadine from our partner SPS and myself, Andy, we want to present a part of our SAP Analytics Cloud rollout story, which we were running the last year. A short agenda for your interest. At the beginning, I will do a short introduction of the company AXA in Switzerland. I will give you a short view in the initial situation we were facing by integrating self-service BI in the organization of AXA Switzerland. Before I hand over to Nadine, she will present you the way how we tackled the situation at the end. And as Gladys already said, at the end you will have the chance to ask questions. First of all, a short glimpse of AXA Switzerland. As you for sure all know, AXA is a global insurance brand, but today we are talking about AXA Switzerland, which is coming from the older Winterthur insurance, which were started the business in 1875. Yes, it means in 2 years we have a big anniversary party, I hope, for all of us. Today we are around 4,500 internal staff, together with our distribution network in Switzerland, which are additionally 3,000 colleagues, which are the sales department to sell our products. We are serving today already around 2 million customers in Switzerland, and we are the insurer for 40% of all companies in Switzerland. The revenue from 2022 was 5.6 billion, and we are serving our customers on the commercial side and on the private sector with 91 products to ensure their things in life. At the end, we are the number one insurance company in Switzerland because we are all brand insurer. A short view on our analytical architecture. We are based on a BW side. On the left side, you can see in a classical enterprise data warehouse approach, where we integrated the most important around 70 source systems, mostly on a daily basis. And on the right side, you see the Google Cloud platform we integrated 5 years ago, especially what you can see above for AI, data science, and analytical use cases, which are not on the reporting side. We are on a BW 7.5 on HANA on an 18 terabyte system landscape. the biggest enterprise data warehouse in Europe, based on BW and HANA, with at the moment 5,500 end users from the I mentioned before, nearby 7,500 employees, which we have in AXA Switzerland all over. We are serving our standard reporting capabilities at the moment with business objects from SAP, with mostly Lumira Designer. And the story is, you see in the middle of the use cases, self-service BI is a topic to since 2 or 3 years to bring more and more the capabilities into the organization, that they can create reportings by their own. And the tool of choice is for sure the SAP Analytics Cloud from SAP, which we integrated in our system landscape at the moment for this purpose. The initial situation is that we are not only driving self-service BI approach in AXA Switzerland. We have several initiatives to drive AXA at all to be a data-driven company. There's several initiatives to do this. But one part out of it is the classical self-service BI approach, what is not pretty new, but we want to encourage more and more of our business departments to do things by their own. What were we tackling at the beginning? We tried to bring it into the organization with a top-down approach. Means that we said to our users, we have the tools in place for you, we have education for you, and now go on. We are expecting from your side that you are gathering your information by your own. This was the one hand, but on the other hand, there were also push out of the organization that they wanted to query their data by their own, because they have several questions on the daily work, which they were not able to answer by their own in this moment. But what we have seen also there, this is not an easy thing to do. It's not just hand over a tool. They really needed support from the internal IT department or from the experts using or working with analytical data on the expert level normally. They wanted to know, or they didn't know where they can go to, who can help them on the day-to-day work. They wanted to also to come into contact with other people in the organization which are on the same in the same phase, which were starting on this journey, and so that they can help each other together. And we recognized that we have to create much more transparency to them, how they can use the tools, which tools are available, and for all at the end also, which data is available and how can they interpret this data, which is sometimes pretty complex. So we thought we understood that it's not enough only to provide a tool like SAC, or we have for sure also Power BI, because we are Office 365 users, to give them in the hands of the users, or to give them the accessibility. It's not enough to have a one-shot training how to use such a tool, and then to think we have initially everything done to enable them to use the tools by their own. We recognize that we have different groups of people in the organization with different know-how already by analyzing data. So we had really to think about who are we addressing with our actions on a really personal level. So we learned, and this is also in this case very important, that we have to involve them continuously in the process and to stand by their side during the complete change management process until they are really able to move by their own into the direction of self-service BI. And that was the point where we were asking how to do this, and we are working already in different areas together with the company as peers, and we were sitting together in the partner meeting with them and discussed about the situation, and then we came to the conclusion that we should enhance the consulting from as peers from the normal technical point of view, to also to reuse their expertise which they have inside in the case of communications and marketing, because SPS as an own company has such a department, and we invited Nadine and her colleagues to discuss this topic, how we can leverage this know-how from SPS also to push self-service BI in our organization. And yes, luckily we found really good expertise there, so that they really helped us by leveraging the strategic communication and helping us using such capabilities to push our self-service BI capabilities into the organization. And that's my introduction for the moment. I hand over now to Nadine. She's the expert, and she were with us the last year, and she will stay also the coming year with us to go ahead with the communication and marketing on a classical internal IT department. Nadine, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much for this introduction, Andy. And yes, also welcome from my side, on our side as a SPS partner of AXA. We heard already a bit about the marketing expertise, but of course I want to introduce you a bit about what SPS is in overall. We are founded in 2015. We are more than 50 employees. We have a women's quote of over 30%. We have right now more than 300 analytics projects. We have more than 50 certificates and around 120 customers. And we are based in Basel and at the Lake of Constance. Here's a short overview of our solution mix. It's starting with data management, reporting and analysis, planning, customer analytics, advanced analytics, as well as sustainability analytics, Google Cloud Platform, and project execution. And already this shows where our main focus is. We are an analytics manufacturer. Here is a puzzle overview with all our complex and diverse challenges. And in the middle, you see a yellow puzzle. It's the strategic communication. And this is just a very nice visualization where it's going to. We will talk today about the strategic communication, which brings all these puzzles together, which is maybe sometimes a missing puzzle and can help to improve campaigns or to achieve their goals. So as Andy introduced already, we come with a strategic communication and community campaign to AXA. And you saw already some pictures about space, and already now you see a space shuttle in the background. And this is the first introduction to our campaign. We integrated the space team. Another topic would have been also possible, but in this case, we've been choosing for the space because we are now here with the marketing communication campaign, and we will also transport more than just the content. This is what we generally know about communication. Communication has this availability to transport things, to generate emotions, to generate a high recall. And with the space topic, we have the association with progress and innovation, with fascination, curiosity. And we want to bring people already with these pictures and theme to be curious, to get in touch with us. This is just the background for the metaphor why we are using the space pictures. And space pictures, this is Uhura. Some of you probably know her. She's a fictional character of the Star Trek series, and she's the communication officer. And with her as an example, we want to explain the question, why do we need communication for a topic like analytics? First of all, she's the communication officer with the ability to prepare complex data and information. And she is able to communicate effectively and to transmit all the information to the crew members. Sometimes she has really different crew members, or sometimes always aliens, and they all speak different languages, and it's very important to bring all these informations together. And that's why she's always able to communicate between different groups with different backgrounds and personalities. And overall, we can say the communication is a facilitator between IT and business to increase the efficiency in the work and in the use of analytics. So what's the goal of our campaign? As we heard already, it's the increase of the usage of SAC overall and within a self-service business intelligence approach. So we want to bring people to build their reports on their own. We can also use the word data democratization to really integrate a data usage that decisions are based on data regularly, fluently, and that it will flow into the data-driven company strategy. For this, we implemented KPIs, how we measured our strategy and our approach. The first is the KPI of awareness, for example, page visits, but it's not only page visits. I mean, awareness is like everything we did. We were placed in a company-wide newsletter, and when we place postings in channels, this is all collected into awareness, but the measurable part would be page visits because there are always links to the SharePoint pages. The second one is the engagement part. There were several events taking place, and the KPI number 2 is the number of participants to these events. And KPI number 3, like we heard, is the overall goal, the number of users, active authors in the SAC. This all will lead to more visibility of my analytics and SSPI of the tools and as well of the team within the whole company. It will transport knowledge and also a further development for the individual roles. So especially a consumer could develop to a basic author, or an advanced author could develop more skills. Who are our target groups? Here we start with a very big group we want to inform. With a also big group we want to enable. And with a bit of a smaller group, we want to involve. We understood the group of involving our SSPI working group. This is really a fixed internal group. With them, we work together, we develop actions together, and we enable together our consumers, authors, and advanced authors. And the informing group, this is more or less the whole company, but in particular, these are the stakeholders. The heart of our communication campaign is the strategic approach, because it's also like we are working in a data-based environment, and also this is data-based. Data-based will start with workshops. Okay, it's not so database, but data. We brought the team together. We collected all their information, what happened so far. And out of this, there was a setup of a vision. Then there was a community plan set up all together in the team. And here there's the data-based approach we placed interviews and a company-wide survey where we really collected data from our users or potential users. We asked them for their pains, gains, needs. And out of this, we created personas. I will come to all these points in detail afterwards. And with all this information together, we created a holistic roadmap, and we had a team-centric in this roadmap and as well a user-centric perspective, so that it's really an overall complete picture, which makes such a roadmap also, in a way, reachable, targeted, and more successful. And for this, before I go more in detail, I wanted to ask Gladys if there are already questions.
Sure. Thank you, Nadine. And thank you, Andreas, for this great overview. Right now, I don't see any questions in the attendee chat. But I would say we can continue for 5 more minutes and then see if we receive some questions, and then I will jump in. Thank you.
Okay, sounds great. So don't hesitate to place any questions. So I will jump to the next slide where we have an overview about the workshop. The workshop was only taking place in the internal group. There were several workshops. It was not only one. We used an interactive board like Mural. Mural is a very easy board because there's possible to collate votes, to harvest main takeaways, to create tasks for the next round, and also we used flexible formats like the World Cafe method or the Pro Action Cafe, and it's a very good approach because it helps for straightforward and conversations and straightforward, meaningful conversations, and to bring also different perspectives together. People are switching groups and roles, and it gives a very overall picture already in the workshop. For the second part, it's the vision. And the vision was only for internal use. It was not communicated, and it was meant as an orientation for all employees as well in the involved group. And it's the goal and the baseline for the strategic roadmap. So it's always like a polar star. Where do we want to go so that we are all on track? We all know what we want to achieve. And it's formulated in one sentence, and it's very efficient, and it helps to keep everybody on the same line. Also, the community development as a strategic approach came out of the workshops, and it has the main indicators like the sense of belonging, to bring people together, to use storytelling, ask users about their needs, that it's very important to be low barrier, and also as well make people visible. It's necessary that we know to whom we're talking to, who is the one we want to reach or who is reachable at all. And it needs to be a safe space. In this group, I should not hesitate placing questions. That's why it's nice when it's personal and we know each other. For this was the setup for the community, and for strengthening the community, there are 4 pillars like internal interactive conferences. In internal interactive conferences, people from the whole company are coming together, they are placing questions, but others, they are also showing use cases. So first, they get to know each other. Second, they get inspired and informed. And third, also by the advertising this internal and interactive conferences, I place in the whole company that it's important to place decisions on data. The content of these conferences are best practices or technical deep dives, but as well the support of the management is necessary because it's always a bit with a resistance combined when you integrate new things, and if you have the support of the management, or like we said already with the data-driven strategy, it's easy to integrate, or it's necessary to integrate things for strengthening a community. But back on the data topic, it's also very important to analyze the community and ask questions like, who is currently not represented and why? Are there maybe people or whole departments missing out? Who is appearing to the sessions? And then you identify potentials in the race of the usage, for example, for several people or a whole group. And actions we initiated at AXA was we opened a channel where we integrated and invited all interested people. And after all meetings and appointments we analyzed the community, we stayed in touch with them, we collected feedback. And another strategic approach was a cross-company interview. This was the baseline for our personas. And personas is a very common marketing tool, and I will explain it afterwards. So the interviews were held with users of the whole company, some of controlling, finance, but also data scientists. We wanted to talk to people who are using already our solutions and asking, how often do you build reports? How do you proceed when you build reports? How did you start? What happened so far? But what are you doing if you have problems and something doesn't go right? And who are you going to talk to? And also we asked them, how long are you working already at AXA? And do you have, even though they are data scientists, or when they are not working so far with our tools, this happened as well in the interviews, we asked them, do you have access to enough training and support to the SSPI tools? And based on all these decisions, we brought it back to our internal working group and we developed the roadmap. A second strategic approach, it's also based on user-centric, but it was not an interview. It was a cross-company survey, as well with impact or information we collected, frequency of usage, clarity and support, satisfaction with the tools, expectations they had when they started, at these expectations right now. And through all this information, we just wanted to have a clear picture how the usage of the SSPI tools is at the starting point within the company, and to identify the areas of improvement. And just to give you a short overview again, I have to click again. So this was the user-centered part with the interviews and the surveys, where we developed out of this the personas, and all this was belonging to the tasks and the actions which were coming out in the roadmap, but as well the workshops and the internal team-centric on focus, what all the members are wanted to have integrated, or also what their experiences showed had its own role. And now I think a few minutes are over, and if there's a question, we could look at it.
Yes, thank you so much, Nadine. There are already 2 questions in the chat that I would like to read, and maybe you can give your answer to our community and to our customers. The first one is, did I understand correctly that there is a strategic and executive part, and how long did the strategic part take? If you can elaborate a bit more on that.
Yes, that's right. There is a strategic part. and as well kind of a content rollout part. And the strategic part, this is the part I just showed already. This is the workshops, the interviews, the surveys, developing the personas and the whole roadmap. And the rollout of bringing all these actions to life, bringing events to people, and writing newsletter and all this stuff. This, of course, happens afterwards. But there is also a time where things are happening in the same time. We updated the intranet. So this was happening already in the beginning. And I prepared a slide, which I will show you afterwards, or maybe, yes, I will show it afterwards, where we have this overall. So was the question how long it took, or?
Yes, how long did it take? But I think you already elaborated on that, Nadine, with, several workshops and campaigns. So thank you for that. And then the other question is if the communication campaign that you presented for SAP Analytics Cloud, if it would also work for another solution such as SAP DataSphere.
Yes, of course, yes. We were focusing, like I showed in our goal of the campaign, that we wanted to increase the usage of the SAC, and for this we placed our questions in the survey and in the interviews, and also in our workshops. We had a complete focus on this, but if the topic would be integration of DataSphere, it's the approach that you change the topic and you place different questions, and of course you can define a different roadmap, which would work as well for another solution. Absolutely.
Thank you, Nadine. Okay, these were the two questions that we had. So we can then continue with the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. So now we are here at the personas, which we developed out of the interviews, and I will jump into the slide of the personas. The persona development is that the personas are data-based. They are target-orientated, and they transport empathy and understanding because they're based on these real interviews we were holding with the users. And just for this marketing communication approach, why do we need personas? They are later on an archetypical user. They represent the goals and needs of the user. And it's depending on the target group. It makes sense to develop 4 to 6 personas. And later on in the communication work, you can always use it for your inner picture, and as well for the roadmap, you bring these actions targeted to these personas. Here's an example. What is a persona? This, for example, is Tamara. She is a basic author. She's working at AXA Switzerland for 12 years. And what did she say in the interviews? And this is a conclusion, what came out of a few Tamaras we were talking to. So the overall quote was, "I'm excited to try out new things, but above all, the beginning must be easy and bring quick success." And this brings us to some tasks. How to be not difficult to reach. And there are some more examples for personas. For example, the consumer, her name is Susan, and she said, "I read the reports provided to me and incorporate them into my analysis and decisions." Or Michael, he said, "I tend to concentrate on the old world or on the classical world. My work requires me to process a large number of key figures." And you see how long they work at the AXA, or in which departments they are based. And this finally leads us to the roadmap, to the target-orientated and user-centered actions. And we remember the 3 overall target groups, like the evolving part, the enable part, and the informing part. So we had formats like personal videos, explaining videos, updating, restructuring the SharePoint pages, dashboard examples, learning materials, interactive training sessions, regularly training sessions, interactive dialogues. We had regularly informing mails to the stakeholder, a reporting dashboard, and we were using several channels like email, we were engaged, Teams, weeklies, videos, SharePoint, blog, and as well print, like poster stickers and display. And here I teasered already this slide where you can see the setup of the campaign. We are now working with AXA since 16 months, and you see the strategic part in blue. It's the workshop, personas, and set up the roadmap, and the realization part in yellow, which is also important part of the continuation. So this is scalable and it's individual because it's all growing within the members and the users. So this is not always happening in the same way, but this shows the picture how it happened at AXA. We started setting kick-off, status quo, workshops, interview personas, and roll out the first content, setting up initiatives, actions, planning holding interactive trainings, channel and community. And this is, like we wrote here, a still ongoing project and also depending to the actions. We are coming to the goals and benefits, what happened so far. If you see these two boxes, you have the IT department on the left side and the users on the right side. And in the initial situation, they were related directly to each other. Users were talking to the IT department or didn't really know who they could talk to the IT department. And what we did now, we integrated a communication campaign in the IT department. So from the IT department, we had this work together. Then we set up a community which is belonging to the users or which are the users. But of course, this is all combined with each other. So the communication campaign and the community are still related. And the benefit which come out is that we have this internal group of team, and the aim was to create a motivated internal group that would work on individual topics within the department to relieve backlogs. And on the other hand, in this user part, the aim was to integrate all these users into a lively community where they can support each other. What brings us to the solution that we have a community where they can help each other, where they are willing to create their own content, where they get inspired, and then they can also create their own reports. This directly increases the usage, and at the same time, it relieves the backlogs because the content doesn't have to be created completely by the IT department. And so we have an overall winning, and we have this combination so that we achieve our goals. And there are some points that the rocket or the space shuttle is only able to take off if there is the support at the management level or this overall strategy of the company. And it's important to have continuity and perseverance, that people can be integrated, and to have this internal working group. It's not possible to delegate it only from the external perspective, but it's good to have this external perspective that someone, as peers, for example, is the facilitator and manager, like Uhura, we heard in the beginning, for all these groups to bring these interests together, to speak different languages, to talk to business people and as well to IT people, that you have a collaboration and a company-wide success. And we place, for finalizing soon, the question of relevance. It's like people, they need to feel involved and picked up. This is the user-centered approach, and also what makes it important that you can see the people behind the story or the people behind the solution. And when rolling out such a powerful solution like the SSC, it's always like it's always shown that there are some inhibitions and people don't know how to get started with all or whether it's relevant for them. And in this dynamic dialogue and in its consciousness dialogue, they need to feel picked up. And just the second one is to analyze the community, like we heard already, to see if there are potentials. And this will finalize in a successful campaign. So I will finally hand over for a conclusion from AXA's point of view, and looking forward to some more questions if there are.
Yes, thank you, Nadine. Very interesting. To be honest, also for me, I'm not a communication or marketing expert, and many of those things I heard about in the past, but how to use it, I had also some learnings the last months. What is our conclusion at the end? First of all, we increased the usage of the SAC, which leads us to the impression that there are more business users now which are able and also engaged to query and analyze data by their own. This helps us for sure to come nearer to our target in AXA Switzerland to become a data-driven company. What we also gained was that our IT experts, okay, this is not new, but I'm not sure from which department you are coming. For some IT experts, it's not so easy to come into the shoes of users. But also from the other side, for some business users, it's not so easy to come into the shoes of IT people. But with these campaigns and with this also events, we're bringing closer together the IT experts with the users, so that there's a better understanding in between both worlds. To be honest, in the past, we tried several times already to bring more communication power in what we are doing inside the company of AXA Switzerland. And I had to learn that I cannot expect from deep dive IT experts also being a good communicator in the sense of how to communicate in a professional way. Like the colleagues from SPS are able to do this. But we learned a lot, and it's not everybody in the team for sure, but some of the team members were really engaged in the group, in this Nadine talked about, and learned many things also, like me, about the power of communications. And it's not only to create good IT solutions, it's also how to provide the information about it. We established a recurring community. It's not a one-off community now for the purpose of this campaign. We want to use this community also for other things and other purposes in the future. And now we have the community with engaged people from the different business departments. Inside AXA Switzerland, that's why also my business name is Head of MyAnalytics. MyAnalytics is, as I mentioned before, the team which is responsible for the enterprise data warehouse, the central one, and the central BI platform of AXA Switzerland. And we have branded us as MyAnalytics. And this campaign helps us also to strengthen our brand inside the company, which also helps in budget discussions, all this stuff. And last but not least, again, and we are really working meanwhile since 20 years together with S-peers, even if S-peers doesn't exist so in different former organizations, but the people are often the same, and we are really happy with them. And also in the area of communication, we learned now that there are experts in the company SPS which can really help us in our day-to-day work. And now what comes next? We want to go ahead, as I mentioned, with this communication events and tools we created now. It's not that we will stop it now. We will use it for other topics, and especially in the self-service BI area, there's a big topic to tackle for us still. This is called, and you know it for sure, data literacy. How to understand really the complexity of the data, and how to doesn't matter which tool, but SAC is the first choice for sure. But the data is very complex underneath, and this is what we want to tackle the next. We are coming to an end now. Thank you very much for your attention and your patience with us. And Nadine and me, we are both here to answer your questions in the case there are any.
Thank you so much, Nadine and Andreas, for this great presentation, and also for sharing your story with us, especially the user-centric approach. I think this is a topic that is in a high priority list for each of our customers. So thank you again for sharing your story with our customers. And as Andreas mentioned, I would now like to open the Q&A round. So please, if you have any questions, place them in the chat. And of course, you're also welcome to raise your hand and let us know that you'd like to discuss one topic, or that you have a question for Nadine and Andreas, and then we will make sure to answer your questions.
In order to raise your hand, please hover your mouse on top of the icon of the raise hand and activate your microphone and camera, and we will allow you to come into the room and ask your questions. Please go ahead. We are waiting for you. Maybe it's a good time to ask if you have any tips for customers who are considering the SAP solution, and a key takeaway.
Yes, a key takeaway, as I mentioned the slide before, is really, I think SAC is a really good tool. Also there, like in all other tools as well, you have always the fight in between usability and capabilities. SAC is powerful, which means there are many capabilities to use for the users, which leads also in this tool, but this is, I think, nothing special, that the tool usability is sometimes a little bit complex about it. So on the other side, you can use a very easy tool, but you are missing capabilities, so you have the choice. So the promise is really the tools are so easy that the users can use it by their own without big education and so on. But our experience, not only with SAC, also with other tools, is that the entry point has to be pretty easy for them. And I see it in our responsibility AXA Switzerland to help the users to go the first step and to bring them into the community where they learn to know that they are not alone with some kind of problems and questions, and the barrier is easier for them to use.
Thank you very much. I see there are no more questions inside of the chat box, and also there are no raised hand. Gladys, you're welcome to close the call.
Thank you, Shani. Great. So first of all, I would like to thank our customers that attended this meeting. Thank you for your time and also for the questions that were already placed in the chat. Thank you, of course, to Nadine and Andreas, to our speakers, for the presentation and for the time that you took to share the story with our customers. I would like also to thank my colleagues that are also following this from the background, and the great work from the customer reference team and the great collaboration. And having said that, I would like to close the session. Thank you again. Have a nice rest of the day, and see you in other SAP References Live sessions. Take care.
Thanks a lot.